And I've got a few examples I want to get into about the double-edged sword. How when you're cut one way, you can also be cut another. But first, here's my call to action, guys. Please like this video, and if you enjoy all the content I'm creating, please hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can get notified of every video that I release. But back to the double-edged sword. Got a couple examples. Take the doting parent. The parent that is always there for their child. Not in a good way. Notice I said doting. I didn't say concerned. I didn't say protective. I said doting. I don't want to name any names, but I've got some family members who had very doting parents. I mean, these guys were 13 and their moms were still making their plates. I make my kids' plates. More of a habit, it's more of a routine, it's more of something that I actually like to do. And I'm just kind of at the stove, and our kitchen isn't really that big. But I mean, these guys would be in their teens and they're like, "Mom, I want some soda. Pour me a cup." And she doted. She delivered. She gave them everything they needed and everything they could have asked for. Doted. But I noticed what developed in them was a significant codependence. That sword cuts both ways. You always want to be there. You always want to be close. You always want to hold them tight. They became codependent. Every sword cuts both ways because it's sharp. Consider how a sword looks. And it's sharp on this side and it's sharp on that side. It cuts both ways. I want to provide a great life for my children. I'm careful. So while I want to create a great life for them, I don't want to give them too much so that they become spoiled. That sword cuts both ways. How do you walk that line? Sometimes it's hard. I listen to the Adam Carolla podcast just about every day. And he grew up in a really tough situation, almost more so because there wasn't a situation. Adam Carolla didn't necessarily go out and throw the ball around with his loving dad. I did a couple of times with mine. What I got for the most part was I was raised in a family where there was a lot of codependence, there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of hurt, and there wasn't really a lot of love that was doled out. It just wasn't. Narcissism, selfishness, codependence, imbalance, all those things were part of my childhood. I'm not complaining about it. I'm just trying to use that as an example for how that sword cut both ways. So because there wasn't a lot of love that I felt, how did that sword cut the other way? Well, I pretty much was always there for my children. Hug them, want to say prayers every night. Don't stop. Trying to help my son in his transition to college. I want to go with him. Make sure that he's okay. I bought my own school books. I was redshirted for the basketball team my first year in junior college because I didn't know what being a full-time student actually meant. Even though my mother was a college graduate. My father, he didn't go to college. I think he took a few classes, but no one was there to help me register for classes. And I went to the local community college. It wasn't that far away. I only have one sister. My mom certainly could have devoted some time. So I remember when the college coach calls me into his office and he's like, "I got good news and bad news." Well, good news and bad news, what could that be? The good news is you made the team. And the bad news is you're not full-time. A little bit of backstory about me. Got pregnant with my son, with my wife when we were 16, juniors in high school. Had him when we were 17, seniors in high school. That was rough. Trying to provide a life and be a good father. And kind of figure it out, because like I said, I wasn't coached up. Not a lot of love as I grew up. Some. But there were a lot of hardships that my parents went through and they just became really concerned about their own situations. I don't think they were intentionally forgetting about me, but they forgot about me and my sister. But back to my basketball story, that's what happened. And I said to the guy, I'm like, well, I am full-time. I work, I come here, and I have another job. I'm definitely full-time. He's like, no. You don't understand what I'm saying. You only have 9 credits. You need 12 to be a full-time student. You need to be a full-time student to play basketball. Dreams dashed. But it was what it was. So because I grew up without a lot of love, without a lot of guidance, without a lot of coaching, that made me become so self-reliant, sometimes to the detriment of myself. It was rough, really rough at times, because I would go into a shell, because right, wrong, or indifferent, the people that were supposed to protect me and guide me and lead me and make sure I was okay, they didn't. So that sword just had to cut the other way. I had to lean in. I couldn't lean into anyone except myself. So I learned to lean into me. Totally self-reliant, but also because I didn't have much coaching, I did become a little codependent in a relationship or two. So there are many umbilical cords you gotta cut. Whatever umbilical cords you gotta cut, make sure you understand you're always gonna cut those cords with a double-edged sword. That's just how life goes. Alright guys, I will catch you in the next video, and please leave down in the comments below what benefited you on one hand, but cut the other way and maybe wasn't so good for you, or vice versa. Tell me in the comments below what you learned lessons from. What was that thing that cut you so deep and it hurt, but it also made you really sharp on the other side? Catch you guys in the next video.